Hi there. I am anxious as It is Sunday and the scaries are really scarying. They've been scarying for the last few weeks. I have been waking up tense. I have been going throughout my day tense. I have been going to sleep tense. And it's weird because it feels like a different type of anxiety than what I've experienced in the past. Like I'm feeling very anxious about what's going on in the world for obvious reasons. And then I'm also feeling anxious about what's going on in my life, but it's weird because I'm anxious about good things. Like my social media has been going really well lately. I've been growing a lot, especially on Instagram, and that's fantastic. I'm happy about that. But then I'm also anxious about it because I'm like, that's such a large audience, which again, cool, but it's also hundreds of thousands of more people who can criticize me. It's hundreds of thousands of more people who I can let down. And then I have more brands reaching out to me, also great, but then that's also more scripts that I need to write. And that's more opportunities for me to do something wrong, to receive feedback that I don't like, which it's fine to receive feedback that isn't always favorable or that is constructive in some way. It's just that I'm really, really terrible at receiving any type of feedback that isn't glowing and positive. It is something I need to work on, but it's been something that I've needed to work on for my whole life, and it's been 29 years and I still haven't gotten around to it. So it's not going to start now. So it's strange because I'm used to my anxiety, especially my work anxiety, being very negative, being centered around the fact that I'm unhappy with what I'm doing and feeling very trapped, feeling like I don't have other options. Whereas now I'm happy with what I'm doing, but I have like excited anxiety. Like I feel like good things are happening. I feel like I'm moving forward, but then I'm also terrified of failing. I'm just in like this constant state of like, okay, things are good right now. When is it going to get worse? So it's just like, what the freaking heck? I thought that when I was happier with my life, I would be less anxious. But turns out, no, anxiety doesn't care if you're happy. It's still going to find a way to make you miserable. So basically, this is just going to be a vlog where you hang out with me while I spiral. You know, hooray, hip hip hooray for that. Okay. If you are new here, hello, welcome. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Morgan. I am a 20, almost 30 something living in Chicago and working as a part-time content creator, part-time corporate America drone. If you haven't already figured this out, I am a very anxious person, and a lot of my content is about dealing with my anxiety, overcoming it, being tormented by it, and most of all, laughing about it. So this vlog is going to follow a few high anxiety days in my life. We are coping with the Sunday scaries. We're coping with an overwhelming to-do list. We have meetings. We have influx home projects, and we are also going to try anxiety medication for the first time. So if you can relate on any level, if you are looking for a community of fellow anxious human beings, then make sure to press that subscribe button because I think you're going to like it here. I'm just trying to brain dump every single thing that I want to do today. I'm definitely not going to do all of them because there's simply not enough time in the day or the week, month, or year, really. But if I can at least get everything out of here and onto paper, I think I'll feel a little better. David volunteered to go to the grocery store for me, so bless his soul. But I also need to make dinner, edit YouTube video. I would like to exercise. Need to wash my face. Should also shower. I just finished writing a brand script for a YouTube video. I need to edit my next TikTok. I actually need to finish filming my next YouTube video. I would also like to start hanging things on the gallery wall. Oh, I should clean something. Everything is just so messy. I always get really, really behind on cleaning. I usually try to do micro cleans. So like each day of the week, I do a little clean here and there so that I don't have to do one whole big reset. But I haven't been keeping up with my micro cleans because I wake up and I'm just like, I have to get XYZ done today. So I wake up and immediately start doing XYZ thing, and then those things take me all day, And by the end of the day, I haven't cleaned anything. Sometimes I haven't showered. Sometimes I haven't washed my face. And I do that repeatedly every day. Every day I'm like, today I will get X, Y, and Z done. And then I will clean and wash my face and put myself together. And it never works. And I continue to do it, which I think is the definition of insanity or something, doing the same thing over and over and thinking you'll get a different result. So results are in. Haha, I'm insane. Oh, sir, you resting your snoot on my leg. Can you sense that I am overwhelmed? All right, well, that was fun while it lasted. I think the easiest thing to check off would be washing my face. So let's go do that. Let's start there. For a minute there, it felt like the scaries might not be scarying quite as much. David and I put away the groceries and then made some lunch.
I'm the Egg King. Now we split it in half. Look at that.
After that, I sat down to do some editing, and that's when I started to unravel. Why exactly? I am not sure, though I would guess it probably had something to do with the wildly unrealistic to-do list I had made for myself. Regardless, I ended up sitting on top of a pile of dirty clothes on my bathroom floor, crying, and David had to come talk me down, or talk me up, rather. So if you're wondering, why does Morgan look so distraught making this smoothie? That's why. But while distressed Morgan blends up her fruit, I just wanted to take this moment to remind you that if you have anxiety, it is so important to be with somebody who is willing to work through your anxiety with you. They don't need to understand it, but they need to respect that it's a very real thing for you and that it is a thing that happens to you, but it is not who you are. Because most of my life, people around me would get mad at me for being anxious. If I had a panic attack, it was inconvenient and embarrassing for those around me. I needed to calm down. I needed to get it together. Something was wrong with me. And I felt a lot of shame in that. And I carried this shame with me long into adulthood and into my adult relationships. And when it came to having a partner, I thought it was normal for my partner to get mad at me for being anxious and emotional. It wasn't until I met David that I realized it really shouldn't freaking be that way. Your partner should be a grounding force in your life. They should not dismiss your anxiety as being overly dramatic. As the person who gets anxiety, you do need to communicate to your partner what you need in anxious situations. Okay, they aren't mind readers. But if they see you spiraling and their reaction is to get mad at you, and that doesn't change after communicating to them what you need, do not be with that person. Being anxious is like being sick. You don't get upset at people for being sick. It's just a thing that happens to them. They don't have control over it. They can go to the doctor, they can wash their hands, they can take medicine, they can do things to lessen the severity of the sickness, but sometimes they will still be sick. That's not their fault. And anxiety is similar. It's just a thing that happens to you. You can go to therapy, you can take medication, you can journal, you can meditate, but sometimes you will still get anxious. And that's not your fault. And you don't deserve to be with somebody who sees you having a panic attack on the bathroom floor and chooses to shut the door and tell you to just stop being anxious. Be with someone who will sit on the bathroom floor with you and hold your hand until you're ready to get back up. Hello. Oh wow, I'm really far to the right or left. I'm not sure what direction that is for you. If you are new here, I work a corporate human resources job 3 days out of the week, and then I work for myself as a content creator 2 days out of the week. So this is a day that I'm working for myself, and I have a lot to get through. I need to finish editing my YouTube video that is supposed to go up this Friday. I actually am not even done filming it yet, which is great, but it's really important that I get as much of this done today as I possibly can because this is my only work for myself day before Friday. So my plan this morning is to just be laser focused on editing for like 2.5 hours. Then this afternoon I need to film the last few bits that I need to get done for this. And then hopefully tomorrow night and Thursday night I can get done editing it. It's a sponsored video, so like I need it to go up on time, partly for myself too, because I don't want to miss my every 2-week cadence. But I also promised a brand that I would have it up by Friday. They already have the integration part, if you're curious about how getting approval for sponsored YouTube videos works. So I already filmed and edited the like 1 to 2 minute integration part that is for the brand. So they have that to review, and now I just need to finish the rest of the video. And I have a feeling I'm gonna still be editing literally up until I press publish on Friday. I really want to get to the point where my YouTube videos are scheduled a few days out. Sometimes I've been able to do that, but these last few videos, every time I go to film and write, I'm like, okay, this video is gonna be shorter. This video is gonna be less complicated. And then it ends up being a very long, very complicated video. Oh, yay. Okay, the brand approved my integration. Fantastic. Okay, I just need to sign that agreement. Oh, and then I need to confirm what products I want from another brand that I'm doing a video for. I'm gonna sign the agreement, then I'm gonna edit, then I'm gonna decide on products. And for now, I am putting this thing away. This needs to go away. Apologies for the mess. This isn't really lovely to look at, but I can't be bothered to clean it up right now. It's just like boxes that I need to put away, and there's a chair sitting over here that I need to sell on Facebook Marketplace, but apparently nobody's interested in it. I think it's such a nice chair, but apparently all of the people on Facebook Marketplace Chicago don't think so. Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna have to start using a video editor, like a person to edit my videos for me. Maybe not for my YouTube videos, but for my short form videos. Those are very easy to edit. They just take me a long time, especially ones where I have to add in camera movements and lots of zooms. But I just don't even know where to begin with finding somebody to do that. And then I get very anxious about like, what if I find somebody that's not good and it makes things harder than it needs to be? What kind of legal things do I need to put in place? I've never paid somebody to do something for me. I know it would ultimately make my life easier. Just thinking about everything needed to make it happen makes me super anxious, and then I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that. It's too much. I don't have time for it right now, and so I'm gonna continue on this cycle of feeling like I have too much to do. Instead, that makes sense. I will just do all of it myself until I completely lose my mind. I'm just gonna make a really quick lunch of mini frittatas and toast. I have 3 sections of my YouTube video done of 7 or 8. It's less than halfway done. Oh my god, how are we almost out of these? Oh, we just bought these. But I realized as I was editing that I also have 2 Patreon videos that I need to get up before the end of the month, and it is already March 18th. So on Patreon, if you're not familiar, that's where I share bonus content. So I do a vlog every other month for the besties tier. I do a mental health check-in video every month for all of the tiers, and then I do an advice video every 3 months for the besties tier. So in March, all 3 of those come together, which I didn't totally think about when I decided on the cadence in January. So all my friends on Patreon, I'm gonna get you your content. I'm going to get it to you. It's just stressing me out a little bit right now. Anyways, realizing that I had all of that on top of what I'm already working on has made my jaw tense up a little bit. I started having TMJ pain like a year ago. I got a piercing migraine one day. I thought I had a brain tumor. It was just my jaw though, because apparently everything in your face is connected to your jaw. It's really fun. In your 20s, you just start to notice random pains and you think you're dying, but it turns out you're not dying. It's just a regular thing that's going to keep happening to you forever, but have no real adverse effect on your health other than making you very upset. But so that pain, I've noticed it really acts up when I am anxious. Honestly, I've been thinking more and more about trying medication. Did I even set the oven to the right thing? 350. Are you set to 350? No. I just feel like if I am gonna keep growing in my self-employment career, I need a little help with the anxiety because there's a lot of things that I just can't get past that I feel like are crucial if I'm gonna be able to grow. I feel like so many people say that it completely changes their life, but then there are also people who are like, it changed my life for a few months and then it got worse again, or it never changed my life for the better, it actually made my life worse and I hated it and I hated myself while I was taking it, and I'm like, I don't want that to happen. And then I'm also anxious about even asking a doctor to prescribe me anxiety medication because I'm nervous that they're just gonna tell me that I don't actually need it, or think that I'm lying. So it's like, how do you get anxiety medication when you literally have anxiety about getting anxiety medication? And then the other part of me is like, no, don't do it. Like, you've been living life, you're existing, you're succeeding without medication. Like, don't ruin it. I can tell in some ways that my anxiety is the worst it's ever been. In other ways, it's not bad at all. I don't really know how to explain it. Like, on one hand, I have less anxiety because I mostly work from home. I really enjoy my job. I'm not constantly having to do work I hate. I'm not constantly having to make small talk with people. Then on the other hand, when I do have to do things that are like even mildly anxiety inducing, I get very anxious, like physically very anxious. I was in the office a few months ago because I do still occasionally go in for like team-based things. And we were just sitting in a conference room as a team, just my team that I work with all the time. And I could like feel my heart beating out of my chest. I felt my face going red. I felt like I was gonna pass out. I was like, what is happening to me? And actually I knew exactly what was happening to me because I've had many panic attacks in my life. However, it really took me by surprise because I didn't expect to be anxious in that particular situation because it's a situation in which I was typically quite comfortable. I just feel like medication could be worth trying if it will help some of my physical symptoms. And like, if I hate it, I can always just stop. But also you can't just stop because a lot of them you have to taper off, otherwise you get really crazy side effects. So if you're on anxiety medication of any sort, I'd love to hear your experience. If you're okay sharing, no pressure. Another thing is I would really like to drive. I have really bad driving anxiety. I have not driven in 4 or 5 years. I had my license. I have my license. It just doesn't really get used except to get me into bars and onto planes. But I used to drive in high school, but I grew up in a small town in Michigan. So my driving was me going from my house to my high school to my after school job. And I always hated every second of it. Like, I didn't want to do it. It's just like it had to be done. I did not drive on the highway. The only time I drove on the highway was for my driver's test, for driver's training, obviously. And then one time I accidentally ended up on the highway in a snowstorm, and I cried from the point that I realized I was on the highway until I was safely in my driveway at home, which felt like hours. It was probably only about 20 minutes. But from then on, I always made very, very sure that on my directions on Google Maps, I checked the avoid highways option or unchecked the highways only option. I checked or unchecked some option that made sure I wouldn't go on the highway. And then once I graduated from high school and I went to college in New York, so I didn't need to drive a car. I didn't have a car there. Then I moved to Chicago. Didn't need a car here. Haven't driven since. What worries me though is if I eventually reach a situation where I need to be able to drive. Like, especially with Goose, I worry about being home, just me and him having some sort of medical emergency and I need to take him to the vet, but I can't because I don't have a car. Well, I do have a car because David's car is here, but I can't drive the car. I could call a pet Uber, but I think that those are kind of rare and that it would take a lot longer for me to actually, get him to the vet. Or like if David needed me to drive him to the hospital or something, like I wouldn't be able to do that. And like maybe if we lived in the middle of nowhere, I could, but because we live in Chicago, I cannot imagine driving here because there's so much traffic. So I would like to one day conquer my driving anxiety, but I just don't know if I would be able to do it without medication, especially since it's been so long since I've driven. I was trying to explain my driving anxiety to my sister once. My sister is like one of the least anxious people I've ever met in my whole life. And so she never really understood my anxiety over driving until we were driving somewhere together. And by together, I mean she was driving, I was in the passenger seat, and I was supposed to be directing her and I was doing a terrible job of it. And we were coming up to an exit where we were supposed to get off, but it wasn't very clearly marked. And so she was like, do I need to get over? Do I need to get over? Do we need to get off? What do we need to do? So whatever, we finally did get over. We got off the highway and I was like, that right there, how you just reacted, what you were just feeling, that's how I feel the entire time when I'm driving. And then she was finally like, oh, okay, I get it. That's terrible. I was like, yeah, I'm very aware. So yeah, feeling a little more confident in my driving abilities would give me some more peace of mind in like emergencies. It's not really a critical thing because again, living in Chicago, I don't need to drive. But unless I'm gonna live in a big city with accessible public transportation for the rest of my life, which I very well could, I will eventually need to learn how to drive or get over my driving anxiety rather. I know how to drive. My brain knows how to drive. My nervous system just doesn't want me to. Just watched a sad dog video and now I'm having a lot of existential thoughts. I need to go take Goose out. Hey buddy, you wanna go for a walk? Please don't ever die.
Goose,
that hurt,
please
buddy.
don't do that, buddy.
I just got done with a virtual doctor's appointment to talk about anxiety medication, and your girl is getting medicated. It's happening, alert. Nobody, because nobody's gonna care really except for me, but it's important enough for me to tell you. I had a therapy appointment yesterday that I literally forgot about. I never, ever forget my therapy appointments because I need therapy. And I was typing away on my computer yesterday morning trying to get more of my YouTube video done, and my therapist texted me and she's like, hey, are you hopping on? And I was like, oh my god, yes, absolutely. I need your assistance with getting my life in order. And so I got on and I was super frazzled and I explained all the things that have been frazzling me, and she was like, I think perhaps we should reconsider medication. And I was like, listen, thank you for reading my mind, because I didn't want to be the one to say it, so I'm glad you said it. So I made a doctor's appointment for literally the next day, which is today, and I was super anxious about it because I am used to doctors being really condescending to me and talking down to me and telling me that my symptoms are fake and that I don't actually need certain medications or treatment. But with this doctor, I'd gone to her once before. She did my IUD and she was really nice, and I got on the call and I was like, so I have been cripplingly anxious for pretty much my whole life, and I have been dealing with it on my own. Whether or not I've been dealing with it well is up for debate, but it's to the point where I could maybe use the assistance of modern medicine. And to my surprise, she was like, yep, that makes total sense. I've got plenty of options. You want to hear about all of them? So she was like, we could do a daily pill or we could do an as needed. Which one do you prefer? And I was like, the daily ones still scare me a little bit, so let's start small with the as needed. So you are looking at the recipient of a propranolol prescription. Like, I just feel so relieved. Am I finally gonna know what it's like to not feel anxious 24/7? Is that, oh my god, is this a new era? An era where I'm more mentally stable? So, okay, I'm gonna go pick up that prescription as soon as the pharmacy tells me that it's ready. I got my YouTube video up. Oh my god. You know what? This is actually a pretty accurate visual description of how I feel today. I got my YouTube video up. It's done. I still have like 14 other things to do, but I should probably like give myself a little rest, be a little kind to myself or something after getting that done. So I'm gonna attempt to do some relaxing today, but this is really all I have the energy to film today. I just wanted to give you the update that we're gonna be on drugs, at least as needed. So it's very exciting for me, not so much for you, but I had to tell somebody, and David's on a meeting right now, so I could tell Goose too. I'll tell him later. I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Okay, good morning. I picked up my medication yesterday evening and the doctor said that I should test it out so that I know how it affects me before I actually really need it in an actual anxiety-inducing situation. So I'm gonna do that today. I have some editing I wanna do, so I think I'm gonna go to a busier cafe than I normally go to get that done. Induce a little bit of anxiety. I mean, leaving my house period just gives me anxiety, but I wanna heighten it a little bit. Normally when I go work at a cafe, especially a busy one, I do literally start sweating. I get a little shaky. My heart rate definitely goes up. So I know exactly how I usually feel in that situation. I think it'll be a good way to test how the medication affects me and if it actually makes me physically feel calmer. But before we go do that, I want to put myself together a little bit. I have a habit of not putting myself together at all when I feel extremely anxious. But the issue with that is that I don't do my hair, I don't do my makeup, I wear sweats, and then I feel like I look gross, and that in turn makes my anxiety worse. But then because I'm so anxious, I don't have the energy to do a full routine. So I'm trying to be better about doing the bare minimum, doing just enough to make myself feel more put together for the day. And so for my face, I've been using my Typology tinted skincare products, and Typology is the lovely sponsor of today's video. So because I've been more anxious lately, I've been picking at my face more, getting more bacteria on my skin, having more breakouts. So I really want to use a product on my skin that's gonna even out my complexion but not clog my pores even more than I already have with my grimy little fingers. And Typology's tinted serum is perfect for this. It's made with vitamin C, squalane, and aloe vera that really helps brighten and hydrate my skin, and it's just a nice lightweight base. I can easily apply it with just my hands, my washed hands. Okay, I'm not spreading more grossness onto my face. I also just hate using makeup brushes. Like, I hate the feel of them, and I don't like getting them dirty because I'm really bad at remembering to wash them. So I really love any formula that glides on really easily just using my fingers, and it leaves a nice dewy, glowy finish. And then I just go in with their tinted concealer. It's made with niacinamide and caffeine to cover up some of my spots and reduce my puffy, exhausted under eyes to help trick people, including myself, into believing that I'm an awake, chipper, literally bright-eyed human being. And then to bring some life back to my lips that are still recovering from the dryness of winter, I'm gonna swipe on some of their resurfacing lip peel. This is gonna help renew the surface of my lips by getting rid of dead skin cells. So I'm just gonna let that soak in, and then I'm going to layer on their repairing lip mask for some extra hydration. And then I'm gonna let that sit. Once that is soaked in, I'm gonna put on my lip oil, which I need to go find. I have been taking this with me every time I leave the house. One, because the packaging is so cute. It's so fun to pull out of your purse. And two, because it works amazing. It's made with vitamin E, squalane, and jojoba oil. Nope, it is pronounced jojoba oil. So just learned that today. Anyone else? Just me. Okay, well, back to the version of me who did not have that knowledge. So it keeps my lips feeling very hydrated and supple, and also gives them a nice glowy finish. I personally like the untinted shade the best just because it looks really natural. It's easy, it goes with everything, but they also have a bunch of other shades if you want to add a little pop of color. And then to finish things off, I just add a little bit of cream blush so I don't look too ghostly, and a little swipe of mascara. And then boom, I'm done. It just brightens up my face and gives me a little self-confidence boost without being overly complicated. And then because Typology's products are ultimately skincare products, I know that they are helping my skin throughout the day instead of making it worse. So if you want to try out any of Typology's products for yourself, you can browse via the link in the description. And if you purchase through that link by April 11th, 2025, you can receive a free shimmering dry oil with your purchase of $40 or more on the Typology Paris website. So thank you again, Typology, for sponsoring this video and helping me look and feel more alive again. Okay, I have taken my pill. It has been about an hour and a half since I took it. It's supposed to go into effect like 30 minutes to an hour in, so we should be in it right now. I can tell that my jaw feels less tight. That's like the first thing that gets tense when I am anxious, so I like super mobile. Lots of jaw movement happening. And like, even if I'm not anxious, but I just become very aware of my jaw, it'll start to tighten up, and I'm talking about it right now, so I'm very aware of it, and nothing's happening. I can't even make it tight like with my mind, which usually my mind can do that. So I think that's a good sign. I got my stuff packed, my laptop and stuff to go to a cafe. So I'm gonna go outside. I also, I hate that I'm like still dressed for winter. This is disgusting, but it's like 39 degrees out. So the coat and hat are necessary. Oh my god, it's like kind of beautiful out. I take back being mad about the weather. I've definitely felt less nervous putting my camera up to film in public and talking in public so far, so that's good. Granted, there is nobody around me right now, so who really knows? Hi, good, how are you? That's me, thank you. So a small thing I noticed during that outing was that I crossed the street at a non-stoplight crosswalk. So like there was no stop sign, no hand and walkman telling you when to go. You just had to look both ways and hope for the best. And these crosswalks, they're not on like quiet streets. They're on very busy roads. I actually don't understand why they're set up like that at all. It's something that I really don't like about Chicago. I like most things about Chicago, but that's one thing I don't understand. Usually I always avoid crossing at those because I get a lot of anxiety that I'm gonna get hit by a car. But today I crossed at one of those without really even thinking about it, and it wasn't until I had already done it and was basically to the cafe that I realized I did that without even thinking about it or getting anxious about it. So I don't know, maybe it's insignificant, but it seemed like a big thing to me that I did that without anxious sweating or without even realizing that I did it. Being at the cafe, I definitely noticed I was a little calmer, like physically. Instead of just ordering my usual drink or looking at the menu beforehand, I actually just ordered right when I got there, and I asked for information on one of the new drinks on the menu that I wasn't familiar with, the prickly pear chai latte or something like that. I keep seeing prickly pear on menus, side note, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, it sounds like it could be good. So I asked her what it was. She was like, it's like a sweet tropical flavor, and it was pink, and I was like, that sounds fun, so I'll try it. So that was a little bit out of character for me in like a good way. The drink was very sweet. I probably would not get it again. A little too much sugar for my liking, but still proud that I tried something different. My jaw still feels really loose, which is good. I do feel like the lower part of my body still feels tense, and I definitely noticed on the way home that I was starting to feel a little bit more self-conscious again, so maybe it was starting to wear off. But the instruction said it would last 5 to 8 hours, and it's only been like 3.5, 4 hours. So I don't know. I'm not confident that it would do much for me in a really, really high anxiety situation because I was still getting some of my physical anxious symptoms. Perhaps I need to take a higher dosage. I only took 10 milligrams, so maybe I need 20 milligrams. I think I want to try it out a few more times for sure to see how it's working, but I feel like I'm leaning towards trying the daily medicine that my doctor mentioned. It was Lexapro that she had recommended if I wanted to try something I take daily. I'm just kind of realizing how anxious I really am constantly. Like, yes, it gets worse, and for the times where it does get much worse, like when I have to public speak or things like that, the propranolol would be good, but I want to feel calmer in my daily life, but I am afraid of the side effects of Lexapro. So we'll see. If you have any experience taking Lexapro or I guess any other like daily anxiety medication, I would love to hear your experience. I feel like a lot of what's on the internet is negative experiences. So if anyone has a positive one, that would be great to hear. But okay, I think I'm gonna end this vlog here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as I spiraled. I think we're mostly out of the spiral now, so that's good. But make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoyed it so that it'll show it to other people who might also enjoy it. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.